Welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith. And this is our last roughing cut. It's only 100 thousandths to clean up the very bottom. And then we'll switch it out with the 9/16 end mill. Come down through there on a pass and the back with a pass. And we'll check the fit. And then if it's a little tight, we'll scoot it side to side about 1 thousandth or 2 to get it to slide freely. And then our broach guide is complete. Alright, there's the reverse pass with the 9/16 width. And after we came through, we had to go down about 25 thousandths to touch the bottom. So this should be touching the bottom and taking the full width and the bottom cut. And we'll see what she feels like on the width there after we get done with this cut. Alright, when it comes to taking and shifting your cutter side to side or shifting the table, your cutter actually stays stationary. Your table's got to shift both ways. Alright, and I want a conventional mill, so that means we're going to be scooping in on the side that we're going to cut. So we're going to come down, the first side is this side of the opening. So we want to go ahead and we want to push our table away. Now I got the indicator set on the mag base, set on the knee itself, and I picked this flat spot right there on my lock lever there. It seems to work really well. So I just leave that on 0 there, loosen my lock, and I'm going to take about 3 thousandths, and we're going to go down there, and on the return I'm going to take 3 thousandths the other side. So I'm going to shoot for 6 thousandths on the total width right now. I can't get her in there, and I usually like to have 3 to 4 thousandths, and so the range that I'm shooting for should be in there the way I feel that right now. Alright, a good test here is to take our broach, put it in here, and we got our width down so we can glide through here. And you put a straight edge right there, and you should pass underneath it with the start of there, and it catches the first tooth. Alright, so we're good to go. We can pull this out, deburr all the edges on it, and it's ready to go. Alright, we want to take one of the 3 clamping collar assemblies here, and we want to put a 1/2 inch key in here because it is going to guide this tool in line with a existing key in the shaft. Alright, so we want to make sure that the key we're putting in here is 90 degrees to our jig here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to slap it in the vise here. So we know we're square to the table, and so this is square and parallel, depending on the line that you're working off of, to the table. Alright, we can set our jig in here, and we'd like a little bit on this side here, but most of this can hang out below us here. Alright, now our broach guide in here. We don't want to put it in too far. We're gonna tighten that up there. It has sprung slightly when we put the slit in there, so and that we knew it would. Most of the time your materials do that. And it's back to the clearance there, tooth there. Alright, so we got this in here. Now we want to go ahead and we're going to square this to the table so that we know that our keyway that we're going to be broaching into this part here will be 90 degrees to our part here. Oh, and it's always nice to put a little bit of light behind your items here so that you can check them. All right, we're gonna go. We're gonna get ourselves a 1/2 inch bar in here. Alright, I found a piece of key stock here so that we can twist this thing to correspond with our broach here. looks pretty good right there. Alright, so now we know that that is square, and we can go ahead and tighten up our guide into the housing here, and we can take it on over to the press, and we know that we will be able to broach it out correctly and be in line with our jig. Alright, we clamped a piece of 2-inch aluminum round into the Bridgeport here and had it hanging out, so we got something to play with out here. And we slid our 3 collars on here, this being the one with the square key in here. Now we have a drawing diagram, and basically you have a free clearance here. This is about where the keyway is going to be milled, and then from here to here we have a 1/2-inch key slot for the top of the tiller arm attachment for steering. Now the autopilot is going to mount down in here. Alright, so what we did is we just slid these on here lightly, and we went ahead and we tensioned them up so we can pull this off of here and they're all straight in line. Alright, now our next step is actually going to be cut a short piece of this so we can sandwich all 3 of these together, and we're going to take a very light skim. These really are, they're pretty close. With that angle on here, I can't see no light underneath them, but I wanted 100% sure because I'm going to drill and tap a pair of holes in each one of these. And then this top plate that's going to mount on here can slide in and out. Because it needs to slide in and out because you're going to have some kind of adjustment for the width. You cannot buy, or we cannot find, a 1/2-inch Woodruff key cutter with a 1/2-inch shank to run in a drill motor. You can find them on up, and 3/4-inch shank, 5/8 shanks, and things like that. But not one for their specific application. So we'll be, they're going to be doing this in plunges. Okay, they really only have to cut that keyway from there to there, and then it's got to be width. But you got to hold this thing rigid. We have one machine diameter here. It's going to be the grab. We're going to create a tilt and a threaded kind of control for in and out. That's kind of the plan. But the next step right now is to go ahead and create a joining plate for positions here with adjustment in and out, so we can slide this, so we don't have to sit there and chuck and unchuck and put this thing in and out. We want to do the adjustment on the whole mount itself, and then the keyway is going to guide the thing in its increments up and down and hold that straight in line. Alright, we slid our vise and our setup over here because I just remembered, I mean, we haven't taken a cut yet, but the last time I ran this little 2-inch cutter in here, I don't think I had really fine-tuned my spindle from the last time I moved it. So we're going to set up here, and I'm going to show you how I go about dialing in a table. Now, we have one of these gadgets here that are pretty popular to be able to clamp around the spindle. In fact, actually, I had 2 of these, and I gave one away not too long ago to the person that I actually got the good deal on this Bridgeport originally. So, I mean, what am I going to do with 2 of them? So anyway, this clamps on here, and one of my favorite button heads or indicators to use is the Starrett button indicator, and this happens to be somewhat of a new one that I've picked up in another toolbox collection along the way. I do have a real old one that I've had ever since, I'd say back in 1983 or so. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna bring our table up so we don't have to stretch so far here. Okay then, and whenever you're checking the table sweep and everything else, you want the knee, you want it locked, you want to tighten up your gibs as much as you can. Let's see, we're going to make sure that we're in neutral here. Nice easy swing, okay, so you can swing all the way around. Alright, now all we need to do is come out, at least get the width of the table here, so we don't have to get too carried away here. We can just kind of center it up. Alright, once we're center, we'll go ahead and choke it in a little bit. Something like that. The unique thing about this tool is you can leave your cutters in and drill chuck, and you can reach around and it grabs just that little area right below where the collet's inner. Alright. And the big wide foot on this button indicator lets it go over the grooves quite nice. And I'm just going to barely load this thing. You don't need to put a whole bunch of load on it. And let's see what we got here. We're going to give it a sweep here. I just set it at 0. We're about -10, -12. And we're going to have to choke it in a little bit. We're off the table over there. Not quite here. Alright, again, slight load, set it to 0, swing it over here, still coming down to -12 like we said. Alright, we're almost, well, right there at 0, a little bit past center. Now we're coming up here to +10. So we had tilt, and we didn't quite bring it back up level. So we're going to go ahead and adjust this, and it's the 4 screws or 4 nuts here on the front.